You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll get started with this. I'll try to stay on the screen and talk about this. But the fundamental question that you're going to hear much more in the press going forward is this. On one hand, we have inflation, but on the other hand, everybody's talking about recession. And so the fundamental question is, are we in a recession already? And the answer is, it really depends on the fact that there is no exact definition of a recession. Classically, what they say is 2 quarters of negative growth in a row is a recession, right? You've heard that. I'm not making it up. It's what's generally talked about. And in fact, we've had 2 quarters of negative growth. Now, the second quarter, we were negative 0.1%. So it wasn't like we were minus 20%. We were minus 0.1. And then as you look out on the world and you look at the stock market, and the stock market's down 18% from its high. And if you look at the National Bureau of Economic Research, so this is a global US body that does research about economics, it says what a recession is from the period of peak economic activity to the floor of economic activity. When you hit the floor, then you're in growth again. And so by that definition, we're definitely in a recession. By the classic definition, we're kind of, usually in a recession, you have high unemployment and a decline in pricing. And what they call stagflation is when you have both economic downturn, negative growth, but there's still parts of the economy that are growing. And so nothing's actually moving the whole economy forward. And so my point about all of this is, so what? Who cares? And the main point to me is, if you are a business owner, every one of us is business owners, there are things you can do to place your business in a way so that regardless of what happens in the economy, your business can run better and you'll be better able to survive inflation, recession, whatever it is, any economy. And so let's talk about some concrete steps. So my very first point, and probably the single most important point, is don't panic. Whatever you do, don't panic. And what I talk about is, have any of you ever had brie cheese, like a little triangle of brie cheese? And one of the things that they talk about is you don't cut off the nose of the cheese, cut along the cheese. And with your business, don't cut off your nose. Don't panic. Don't do anything. But here's what you do need to do. If you have floating rate debt that you have, what you want to do is convert that floating rate debt to fixed debt. And be ready, because when the Federal Reserve, even though tomorrow, they're going to raise interest rates, but then they're going to start lowering interest rates again soon after. And that's part of why we're in such a crazy economy. But the last thing you want is to be in a floating rate debt, because there you have 2 negative points, which is, one, you're completely exposed to the economy. And number 2, you're based on what's known as prime rate. And you're not based off the 10-year treasury, which is what most financing takes care of. There's also something in England called LIBOR, which is the London Interbank Offer Rate. which is basically what the Bank of England will lend to a group of banks that all get together and agree with the Bank of England. And it's rife for corruption, and yep, there's been corruption with that. Yes.
So what is floating rate debt?
Okay, floating rate debt is debt that, say you have a mortgage that after 5 years can reset. That's floating rate. It's fixed for 5 years, but then it floats.
I see.
But you can get a 30-year mortgage at one rate, 5% for all 30 years. That's fixed rate. Floating rate is, there's mortgages you can get
So
that
like an adjustable?
adjustable, that's an adjustable rate mortgage that is also floating, but it's not as floating as the full market because you're fixed for a period.
Oh, I see.
And then it just, after the period, it resets. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the difference between fixed debt, mortgage for 30 years, one rate, or resetting after 5 years, or having a fully adjustable rate mortgage, which in certain economies makes a lot of sense, but in this economy, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. Stay away from it. So that's the first point. Do not panic. You're going to see more and more press that's going to be like the sky's falling, Chicken Little's running around. Don't pay any attention to it. You are all business owners, and put yourself in a position where you're acting like a business owner, not a consumer. Because yes, you're also a consumer as an individual, but as a business owner, you have to think differently. And as a business owner, one of the things you have to do, I want to talk about this for a little bit, is evaluating everything, which is to say, take Excel or Google Sheets, it doesn't matter where, and list every one of your expenses. Every single one of your expenses. It does not matter whether it's a business expense, a home expense, everything. Put it all on a list and then sort it, not just a random sort, by most important, most essential to your business, to least essential to your business. What's the benefit of doing that? Number one, you should know your budget. You should manage your budget. You should look at that on a monthly basis, but you should really look at every single expense. So I'll give you an example. So how much does it cost to go to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts and get a large coffee?
Starbucks is like
$4.
$4.50 now.
Yeah, that's why I said $4 or $5.
And
It's insane.
And it's just crazy. And the thing is, you can buy through your business a box of coffee. And then just keep it in a bag. I have a bag, it's got a bag of coffee in it. And there's a Keurig here. Water doesn't cost you anything, you're already here. So cut that cost out. And just don't waste money foolishly doing things just because it's a temporary happiness. But instead, focus on things which really help you. But as part of all that, remember, and you've probably heard this hundreds of times, but you've never really thought about it, which is cash is king. Now think about this for a second. If you have $1 and you're in an inflationary time, your dollar is worth less than $1 because prices keep rising. But in a recession, it's worth more than $1. Dollar goes more. So one of the things that people talk about a lot right now is it's great to go to Europe. Why? Because the US dollar is the strongest it's been ever. But one thing that you can be absolutely assured of is that at some point in the foreseeable future, that will no longer be the case. And part of the reason why that is because there's this Russia-Ukraine war that's hurt European economies because some fuel prices have gone up 50%, 100%, 10 times what they were. And so that's actually hurting business. In the United States, we've actually become a net exporter of oil. So we have plenty of oil in our country. And what you've probably seen over the last 3 months is that fuel prices have actually come down. They were $5 a gallon, now it's $3.50, $4.
Yeah.
But that's a material change, 16% drop. So what's important is evaluate everything, every cost. And your family will thank you as you evaluate costs, and just be thoughtful about it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to do all kinds of different things. But what is important, and this is the third point, is make small adjustments. So here's a small adjustment that I'd like to talk about. So right now, today, it's September the 20th, right there on the screen, September the 20th. It's high of 87 degrees today. But rest assured that we've already had cooler days. You've probably even thought about breaking out a sweater already. And so something that you can plan on, it's going to come, is we're going to be entering something known as the shoulder months. Shoulder months happen in the spring and they happen in the fall. And what that is, for example, turn off your air conditioning when the high temperature drops below, like, whatever, 75 degrees. Just don't run your air conditioning, run your fan if you have to, but don't run your air conditioning. It's an adjustment, but it's not a massive adjustment. But think about small items that you can take. The next question about making adjustments is, we have a problem in our country. And here's the fundamental problem that we have, which is, as you look at the stock market, you look at how the stock people look at the stock market, is they want to know where you were next quarter versus this quarter. And the truth is, I've been in business since 2011. Been 11 years. And I'm probably going to be in a business more than 11 years in the future. And so, as part of that, I want to talk about two things at Keller Williams, which is, number one, are you all aware of the budgeting feature in Command? Okay, so if you're in Command, what you want to look for is reports. Reports is one of the icons on the left or at the top of Command. And within reports, they have a budgeting tab. What is the budgeting tab? Well, we're at a point now where we're entering the fourth quarter in a few days, which means that everybody tells you in real estate, it's a 90-day term in real estate, right? So when we hit October 1st, you should be thinking already about January 1st. And so as you think about the budgeting feature in Command, a great idea is actually this. As I talk about making adjustments and ranking costs, you pay $25 a month to Keller Williams as a technology fee, right? Not making it up. And as part of that technology piece is Command is incredible. And think about this. How much money you want to make in 2023? Top line. How much money do you want to make? Just, you don't have to shout it out. Just think about how much money you want to make. And then think about this. How many deals do I have to do where I close to make that number? And then think about this, and this is something I talked about in this room, which is how many contacts, and when I say contacts, I mean quality real estate, where you have a real estate discussion, do you have to get a listing, for example? And I make a strong argument that of two things. Number one, home prices have declined from 106% of the home price to 100% of the home price. That's already still a 6% decline in home prices. And everyone's like, the sky's falling, it's only 6% decline. Like, it's not a big deal. People are nervous, but the truth is, it's still 100%. It's not like prices have started to really decline. They've just declined from the peak. So depending on who thinks about a recession and how you think about a recession, it's a decline in asset pricing of homes. So that's interesting to me. And so the first thing is, think about how much money you want to make. Then think about how many deals you have to close from your average sale price to get to that number. And then think about how many contacts do I have to make to get that listing, and how many listings do I have to get to close on the home, and then make the money for each one. Now, to get paid right now in command, a requirement is, Keller Williams, excuse me, is that you have to have the contact already in command. And then if you're the contact in command, then you can create the opportunity with that and then slide it down the opportunities and then move towards close. Load up all your documents. You have a free account at DocuSign as part of that, being an agent at Keller Williams. DocuSign is fantastic. All of the GDPR documents are up in DocuSign. You can just use them. You can create templates for all that. It's all in front of you. You can also do all of your marketing, all of your designs directly in Command. Command's remarkable because it can tell you everything you need to do. You just have to set it up. But you have to start by having your budgets, by knowing what that is, and being inside of Command and making that work. Now, as part of that, there's this thing that's out there where you have to pay money to do learning, right? You got to pay money to do learning. At Legacy, in the region, nationally, there is an enormous amount of training that's available. It's available within Command, it's available on YouTube, it's available within your mykw.kw. It's just totally available. So that's kind of the third point that I want to talk about, which is go to trainings at Legacy. We've talked a lot about lead generation. Lead generation's amazing. However, if you don't know what you're going to say, it's a problem. So prepare, plan, do all of that, and make contacts. And if it's going to take you, for example, 12 real contacts to get a listing, then if you make 12 contacts a day, you're going to be rolling listings. If it's 40 contacts, then it's going to take you 3 days, 3.5 days to get that listing. And what you can't do is beat yourself up. Hurt your own self by your own self-doubt. something made you become a real estate agent. And one of the things I've always said is having a real estate license is a license to print money. But it's only a license to print money if you believe in systems and models. And you have to commit to a system that works for you, for your business. And commit to that. And think about this. When you do a deal, doesn't matter where, you almost always talk with a mortgage agent, right? And you almost always talk to someone in title. And you might even talk to an inspector. And all of these people are all part of your contact sphere. They're all people that you work with all the time, and Lord knows there's plenty of mortgage people out there. There's plenty of title companies out there. We've got stuff within Keller Williams that can help your business. We can even help you do all your back office in this company. And so the most important thing is make sure every day you commit to yourself to take some time to grow your business. And it doesn't matter how good the economy is, how busy you are, or how slow you are, you have to commit time to grow your business. And that means making contacts, growing contacts. Keller Williams has talked about the 36 touch, right?
Right.
Again, not making it up. And the thing is, when you join Keller Williams, you're drinking out of a fire hose. And then once you're in Keller Williams for a year, 2 years, 3 years, you kind of do your thing. And then when the economy starts to shift, you're like, why isn't that working the way that it was working? And one of the things I talk a lot about is hidden referrals and just finding hidden business where it's out there and you're not necessarily finding that. So how many of you go ahead?
What's hidden referrals?
So to me are hidden deals that people that you know, they're not necessarily like your best friends, but people that you know, but they have reasonably, they know 200 people.
I see, yeah.
And so the question is, for example, if you have children and they go to a sports event,
Right.
all those parents that are there are potential deals. You don't necessarily want to market them and say, hey, I'm a realtor, come buy a house for me or sell your house. But it could be, how many people have done bold? You done bold? Okay, so in bold, they talk about something, and I love it, that's called the Ford discussion. The Ford discussion, recreational, dreams, and dreams. Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So are you selling real estate when you do that?
Yes.
No,
No?
you're building a relationship with a
Oh.
person.
I see.
And part of what you can have is you can download the KW app and you can market. You can take from someone when they tell you the answers to the Ford and just write it in their contact. You don't need anything else. It's all right there. You're already paying for it. Use it. Like, use what you're already paying for. Don't pay for new stuff. Use what you're already paying for. Go deeper in it. So
So can I ask, you were talking about reports and then going into budgeting? What is that budgeting? Because I don't have my map in here.
it's budgets.
Is that like,
So what it is basically what I talked about. Think about, first question they're gonna ask you is, how much money do you wanna make?
I see, okay, so they'll
So-
help you break it all down.
So think about that. And then you're gonna have to answer the question,
Got it.
like, how many deals do I have to do? So that means, it presumes the fact that you know the average price and the average commission that you get going in. And you can get that information pretty easily, but it's out there. And don't wear out Crystal, because Lord knows she's too busy. But think about that.
Thank you.
And then as you think about your average selling price, it's how many contacts do I have to make to get the listing? And how many listings do I need to make to close it? So what I set up, there's no magic to any of this, is I set up my key performance indicators. And it's basically, how many contacts do I have to make every day? How many listings do I get? And of those listings, how many of them actually go to close? And because it's the close that creates the money, it's not the listing, it's not the event, it's not anything else, it's the close. And so the question is, how much money do you want to make? How many closings? So how many deals do you need? And then because of that, how many contacts do you need to get a deal? And that's all the questions that's in the budget. I mean,
Thank you.
and to me, it's a great process. And it also tells you, probably don't pay a lot of attention to it, but on the home screen, how many contacts you have relative to everybody at KW Legacy and everybody at KW.
Oh, God.
Oh, God,
We don't want that.
it's right there. Whether you want it or not, it's right there. But it also gives lots of other data. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. So any questions so far? Any other questions? Any questions from online that you want to share publicly? Instead of muting, you can. But my fourth point is, so just review for a second. The first point is don't panic. Second point is evaluate everything. The third point is make some adjustments, but don't make wholesale changes. My fourth point is stay the course. If you make the decision to have your own business, not just be a full-time employee somewhere else, but have your own business, stay the course. Don't give up. Stay the course. And do not cut your marketing. But it's free, almost free, to market on Facebook. And it's under $1 for like Recession. I mean, it's pretty, they've done a great job at KW of driving down that cost. But if you post just on your own, there's no cost to Facebook. Stay on course. Stick to what's works, with what works. Recessions, among all the stuff that goes along with a recession, is it's a great time for learning. Learning a new skill, learning a new trick, getting something involved, like new that you have involved. But learn. And build a real team around you of people that can help put money in your pocket. I'm a commercial agent, I'm not a residential agent. And there's nothing I love better than putting money in residential agents' pockets for referrals. I love that. And it's a win-win all the way around if you can get a deal closed from a referral.
I have a question.
Yes,
You said Facebook postings,
Facebook postings, if
they
you do,
work, they're great, they work. I know, I have had a client who went and bought a property from Facebook page and like, why didn't you call me? Anyways, it wasn't my listing. But you can post other people's listings on your Facebook page,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Do you need their permission to do that?
not if they post it publicly on Facebook without limitation,
Without limitation?
without limitation.
How do you know that that's without limitation?
As broker,
Okay,
as broker.
okay, and then you said that KW has done a really good job in keeping the cost
of,
Low,
of marketing on Facebook. Like a Facebook post that you do
we would market it through KW, not through the Facebook.
through KW, through your link of Facebook.
I see.
So if you have your Facebook linked to your KW account,
Right,
right? Most people do, I do.
right.
Most people do. It's not hard. And you can advertise, you can even schedule advertisements, and you can set out your budget that you want to send out ads. You can Send it to a particular zip code or target market,
Right,
whatever you want. And
but the pure fact that it's connected to KW, if the cost is less
less than if you went out on Facebook.
straight through Facebook.
If like you did it as an individual and advertised, it would cost you more money than doing it through
Good
KW.
to know, that's great.
KW offers a KW website that you can build that has multiple pages. You can customize. You're already paying for it, you know, you can use that. But use what you're already paying for to get more value from what you're paying for. Because you've already spent money, but have you learned everything about what you're already paying for before you start paying for something else? And so there's some incredible learning about command that's out there on YouTube. Watching YouTube doesn't cost you any money, it costs you time, but no money. And stay the course and invest more deeply in your marketing. Go deeper, don't go wider, spend more money. Don't join new organizations where you're gonna have to spend a lot of money to be part of that organization, because you've already spent money to be an agent at KW. You've already spent $25 a month for technology. You pay it every month. I pay it every month.
And that's so.
And then some. So you like use their technology, like how it works for you. But stay the course. If you've done things that have worked for you, do them better. And I talk all the time about hidden referrals, hidden deals. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So everybody has a network. Everybody went to elementary school. Most people graduated from high school. Some people have gone to college. But everybody that's in the market where you're marketing is part of your network. And if you're not marketing to them, it's a problem. If you have children and your children are in school, the teachers, the PTA, all the sports events, everything, you're already doing it. Invest more heavily in what you're investing your time in, invest deeper into that. And don't sell. Be interested in people. Like, embrace people, meet them where they are. Everybody knows the golden rule, right? Do unto others as you want to be treated. Do you all know the platinum rule? So the platinum rule is treat others the way they want to be treated. Which implies you have to know how they want to be treated. Most people, not everyone, most people want to be listened to. And I've been married for almost 26 years. And I'd say part of the time, my wife doesn't listen to me, and part of the time I probably don't listen to her. I mean, it's just the reality. Like, you got other stuff on your mind, you're thinking about your business, you got other concerns. But the answer is be present. Wherever you're doing, whatever you're doing, be present. And listen. You know, they talk about you have 2 ears and one mouth. Listen. Just listen to people. Listen to what they're talking about. one of the things which fascinates me is almost everybody I talk to just sort of talks about whatever, but in that, there's always gold in what they talk about. That they kind of give you like a key into them, something that they're thinking about. I was talking to someone earlier today, and she told me that she was having the sequela from having been hit by a person in her car. And she has like a small concussion and that she has a little bit of brain fog. And like that's an admission. That's gold. I mean, that's like a real thing. You could really meet someone and make them love you better because you've loved them better by not thinking of the answer, not thinking about what you want to say next, not doing anything else, but being present in the moment. And that's really hard. It's really hard, especially if like you're on a team and part of your business is not your business, but it's a team's business. It's reality, and there's nothing I can say about that, but it's great to be an individual agent. It's great to be on a team, and which one's better? Well, they're both great. They're both great. Each one's great. And whatever it is, but invest more deeply and invest where you are. Stay where you are. Stick to what works. Go deeper. Go deeper. That's all I can say is go deeper. So one way that I found some hidden deals is I'm on LinkedIn. I've been on LinkedIn a long time. I'm in a commercial business. I've been on LinkedIn a long time. And what Facebook doesn't do, what LinkedIn does, is it tells you who's looked at your profile. I can see who's looked at my profile. And those people, I'm trying to convert them all to active leads, generate deals from that, contact them. Nobody does that. It's a hidden thing. You have to work harder because there's going to be a reckoning and there are going to be agents that leave real estate. Don't be that agent. Invest in yourself. Do that. Stay the course. And my last point, this is my final point, and then I want to have a more general discussion, is invest in the technology that you already have. Invest in the technology that you already have. So I can say with absolute assurance that everybody at Keller Williams has Command. Command is in technology. How much learning have you done about using Command, benefiting from Command? When I say invest in technology, part of that is continue to invest. I can also say that in the time since I've started being a tech trainer and learning more deeply about Command, Command has gotten significantly better. And there's no question in my mind that Command has gotten better. All technology gets better. There's a thing in technology that they call Moore's Law. And Moore's Law says transistors will half in size, double in speed, and half in price every 18 months. That's Moore's Law. Now, many of you are not probably building transistors on your own. You may be, but I'm not. You may be. But Moore's Law applies to everything in technology. And basically, every 18 months, the price of technology cuts in half and the speed doubles. And you see it in so many items, in everything that you do, whether it's on Office 365, whether it's on Zoom. There are people from KW that are working with Zoom to learn what Zoom is and how to use Zoom better and keep Zoom updated. So I don't pay for Zoom. I don't feel like I need to because I have two services, one of which I'm already paying for, two of which I'm already paying for. But I'm already paying to pay for my Office 365. I pay for that already.
You have Teams on
So you have Teams on that. So you can do video through Teams. You can do video through Facebook Live. You can do video, you don't have to pay for it. You can do video through, if you have a Gmail account, through Google Meet. Super easy. There's plenty of things. I do video through LinkedIn as well. That if I put in online meeting, LinkedIn says, do this because they've been bought by Microsoft, so it runs off the Teams platform, but they run that. So
Do you pay for LinkedIn?
I pay for LinkedIn. Here's why. Because about 2.5, 3 years ago, I was messaging with someone on LinkedIn. And they're like, you're a commercial agent, right? And they're like, I'm in a space and I need to increase my space by 5,000 feet. Can you help me with that? And I'm like, sure, here's my email. Let's do it. I'm like, let me jump on that. Let me jump on that. And that person referred me to somebody else, and I made a lot of money from that.
Yeah,
And because of that,
you're faithful.
I am willing to pay for LinkedIn because I don't expect to get regular deals from that, but I do expect to get a deal now and again that pays for LinkedIn for the next 10 years.
Because you do need to pay for LinkedIn if you're to see who is looking at your profile. Otherwise, they won't let you to.
$30 a month.
Yeah,
And it also lets me do a little bit more fine searches.
yeah.
And
But that's all. I mean, anyone can see you don't need to pay that extra $30
You don't.
because it does add up. If you really look at our entire spending as a realtor.
Right.
But they can, at least you can have a link to your website or a phone number or even a bio or a resume, right?
you can have all of that.
Yeah, for free.
And then I'll tell you my trick that works great on LinkedIn. And I highly recommend doing this. Which is, if you're on LinkedIn and you want to search something, put nothing in the search. Just hit search. It brings up everybody in the entire world on LinkedIn. Not very useful, right? But if you get rid of your first level contacts, your third level contacts, people you know, people you have no idea who they are, and your group contacts, I put second level contacts, and you put in Baltimore, Maryland, you get second level Baltimore, Maryland contacts. And you can see how many people you know without looking at their profile. And that's my LinkedIn trick
Wow.
that
Okay.
is really beneficial for finding second level Baltimore contacts to get to know, to meet. I just met a guy at Waters. We both split Waters. We spent a lot of money at Waters. And we had a great meeting. And it's an appointment. And he told me about his business. He's doing events at hip hop. And I told him about my business, sell commercial real estate. And we had a great meeting. And we spent no money, but we did spend an hour of time. And your time is basically all you have. And the question is, how do you use it to help your business the most? And I always say, go deeper. Don't cut off your nose to spite your face. Invest more time learning the technology that you've already invested in. Don't pay any attention to the news. Because the news has never sold a house for you. Never sold a building for me. It's never sold a house for you. And so the news doesn't help you. It does not help you. But what does help you is Facebook Lives, trainings here. There's a board out there, there's an electronic board of everything going on. And there are free books to get on, for example, there's a book club going on now about the shift. You can get a free copy of Shift, read the Shift. Shift is fantastic. They have fantastic graphs that you can post about. It's fantastic. But there, I mean,
Where can you get a free copy of Shift?
go back into that executive area
Okay.
and just say, can I get a copy of Shift?
Wow. Okay.
And they'll give you a copy of Shift. And you know why? Because it's useful. And nobody at Keller Williams that works at Keller Williams is trying to hurt your business. On the contrary,
Yeah.
they're trying to help your business.
Yeah.
And my thing is, whatever you have done that works for you, do it more intensively. And when I say work harder, I mean, go deeper, work harder on those things that you've been doing. Do more, spend more time on Facebook. Spend more time on Instagram, spend more time on LinkedIn. Do whatever, but grow your database. And grow your database by people that you naturally come across. Whether it's people that you went to high school with that are still here, people you went to college with, people your kids play sports with, people that are on the PTA, all of that. If you're at a church, people in the church, like they all have 200 people that they know. You don't have to sell to them. Have the forward conversation. Just, learn about people. Be interested and listen. And then add it to Command Mobile. Add it to Command. So you always remember it. You don't have to remember it. The software remembers it for you. You just have to write it down before you forget it. I go crazy and I spend 99 cents on my notebooks. Yep, I go crazy. I make 10 at a time. I really go crazy. And no, thank you for coming. I'm so glad that you did. And so you have to know who your best referral sources are. And invest in those best referral sources. Believe in 36 Touch on those referral sources that are your best referral sources. And whoever that is, I have no idea who that is, but invest more deeply in those people. I just had a conversation this morning. I got a virtual assistant. Best thing ever, because I know my time's worth an hour and she's worth less money an hour, and she does things I have no idea how to do. So, and helps to push me, which is all quite and that's sort of my presentation. And so I have questions, which is, do you know what works for you? Like, can you put that into words? Like, I can say definitively, my best referral sources are lawyers and accountants. The reason why, it's no mystery. It's really hard to find commercial buyers and sellers, but they all have lawyers and they all have accountants. And so if I become friendly with those lawyers and accountants, sooner or later, I'm going to get to know those commercial owners and sellers and buyers. And it's not fast, but it works. But you've got to bring it every day. You've got to set standards for lead generation. Commit to yourself. Commit to yourself of what you want to do to build your business and stick to growing your business. Stick to it and do it again, 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 every day. And track your progress. Know how many contacts you've made, how many deals you've done, how many deals actually get to close. There's Hunter, go talk to Hunter, Hunter's in mortgages. Hunter knows a ton of people, I know Hunter's mom. So, like, got a deal for Hunter's mom. So, everybody is part of your network, everybody, me, everybody on this who's muted and doing it, they're all part of your network. They all have contacts, and maybe they're not reaching out to their contacts, maybe they are. But what was the term I heard today? It was coopetition, which is basically working with other people who, in fact, you're competing with to get across the bridge. Don't hesitate to do that. Like, you need to do what works with you, the people that you like, the people that you want to spend time with, the people that give you time, that are interested in you. Those are people that will eventually bring deals to you. Yeah. So, is it a recession? I have no idea. But here's what I do know, is that by looking at every one of your expenses, ranking them from most important to least important, and then eliminating those that are least important, I'm not gonna die if I don't drink coffee at Starbucks. I'm not gonna die. It's not gonna hurt me. But it may put a lot of money that I can put in a checking account or a savings account to then invest in some real estate. Like, you know, I'm not gonna die, not tomorrow, hopefully, and just figure out what are those costs that you can cut. One of the things I did was I cut my phone bill. I had an office and I had Comcast Business through my office. And they said, for a fixed price of $40 a month, we'll give you unlimited calls, unlimited text, unlimited data, all of that, unlimited Wi-Fi everywhere. I'm like, that sounds like a good deal. I'm like, how about if I'm in the mountains in Wyoming? Can I get that? They're like, yep, we got you. So I switched and I cut my phone bill from $80 to $40. Very happy about that. And yeah, stay the course. Don't panic. Don't panic. But there's no question that home prices are starting to decline. And when I think about economics, one of the things I think about is it more likely that it's growing or more likely that it's shrinking? Is it more likely that there's more of it or more likely that there's less of it? And one of the things I can say is that it's more likely than not that home prices are going to go down rather than go up. Now, how much that is, I have no idea. My crystal ball is broken. But what it is that I can expect that we've been in a plus market, and now if we're just in a half plus market, it's still a positive market, it's still a good market, but it's not as good as it was. And so what that says to me is, well, prices dropped 16%, my work rate has to increase 16% to offset that. And what that is making more contacts. Like I used to say that I needed to make 12 contacts to have a quality discussion, and I needed X number, I think it was 6 quality discussions to get a listing. And then I needed X number of listings to get a sale. And now what I know is, whereas it used to be 12, now it's 40. Like I've got to make 40 calls. And so I'm like, well, if I can make 20 calls a day, that's on 2 days, every 2 days. And then maybe there's some days, today's Tuesday, but last Thursday, I contacted 36 people. So almost got like all those contacts to try to get a, a listing in one day. And I've done a bold 100 before, so I know I'm capable of it. But you don't have to do a bold 100. What you have to do is commit time every day to invest in your business by reaching out to people that are already in your database and that are near contacts. And I just saw something that said the best people for you to contact are near contacts. I'm like, let me think about that. Near contacts. And those are people that I know, people that they know, what LinkedIn would call second level contacts. And well, maybe, but that's my search, is I look for second level Baltimore contacts. And my rule used to be, if we had 75 contacts in common, I'd send you a message. Now it's fine, we have 100 contacts in common. I will send you a message and say, hey, we know 100 people in common. We haven't met before, we should meet. Can I buy a coffee? That kind of thing. And just try to convert from passive to active. And to me, that's what it means, is like people that aren't as close, those are people that aren't as close. These are people that I don't know quite as well, but now I'm getting to know. And then hopefully over time building as true contacts, real people that are part of folks that I talk to every 2 weeks to see how they're doing, what's changed, how that is. Now think about your own life. How much changes in a week? Everything that changes in a week, it's a lot. So 2 weeks is a lot of time. And if it's a lot of time for me, for you, it's probably a lot of time for other people too. And so the most important thing is don't judge, contact. Don't hold yourself up, contact. Just make the contact. Like if you're an agent, you have a business. And if you have a business, you've got to make yourself visible. And one of the ways you make yourself more visible is by continually growing your contact. If you have an open house, every person that comes to that open house is a far contact. But you can make them a nearer contact by following up with them afterwards. They already have their name, you might even have their email address. And the one thing that they can do is say, don't contact me. Fine, okay, I respect that. Not everybody does. Contact me. I get plenty of those. I have some automated stuff that I'm doing on LinkedIn. I have some people that say no. Like, okay, no fair. And then one of them wished me a happy birthday. I said, okay. Yep. So to me, that's a hidden referral. That's a hidden deal. It's people that wish you a happy birthday when it's your birthday on Facebook. Who are those people? How many of them are you already connected with that you haven't met? Meet them. Get to know them. Because there's one thing you know, even though you haven't met them yet. They know 200 people. And some of those 200 people are going to buy and sell houses. And so it's just trying to make near contacts active contacts. It's not doing anything different. It's going deeper. It's things you're already doing, things that's already part of your life. It's getting more active about it and being less passive. Being more present, listening more carefully, not thinking, what am I going to say to the next person? What am I going to say next? What am I going to do next? Don't think about that. Think about what they're saying. I have a referral for you. Oh, I full attention. Like I'm totally focused on it. Because that's maybe a deal. Maybe it's a life-changing deal. Who knows? How do I know? But don't prejudge. And you have all the tools at your fingertips. Use those tools. And command, I can say without hesitation, is fantastic. It's fantastic because literally, especially as a residential agent, You need nothing else to run your business. You can do all the designs there. They've got thousands of designs that are up there. I get all the time on command, Halloween things, Thanksgiving things. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. And then I'm like, hey, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can take that. Maybe I can reach out to some people. Like, do you travel for family or do you host Thanksgiving? Well, that's a family discussion. That's a family question. That's not a real estate discussion. That's a family discussion. Do they live in Maryland? What part of Maryland? I do business there. My license works there. I got a Maryland license. Cool. In another state, well, you can use the referral network. Make the referral. Find an agent that you're comfortable with in another place. Make the referral to them. Maybe make a deal. I did a deal in Ohio. Found someone that I felt would be great. You know what? He was great. We closed the deal. It was great. It was great. And you know what I did? Nothing. I just found them on referrals. I just looked for someone with certain characteristics, and it's easy. And so invest in what you're already doing. Constantly use the recession, if there is a recession, to learn. You have to constantly learn, because if not, you're falling behind. You've got to always learn more. Now, one thing you can say with absolute certainty is there are people that have been in residential real estate 30 years ago, 40 years ago, that have made a ton of money in real estate. Nothing's changed between now and then, except technology's gotten better. But they made money, you can make money now. And all they had to do was have Rolodexes and notebooks with cards in them, and names. And Gary Keller talks about having had a card case that he carried around with him, that he just then eventually had letters and followed up with. Well, you don't need all of that now. You know, doesn't cost you anything to have a Gmail account. Doesn't cost anything. Doesn't cost anything to have a Yahoo account. It doesn't cost anything. And I like free. Gotta be honest, I like free. Makes me happy. But quality and yeah. Meet with me, schedule an hour meeting. I have a link in my email to schedule an hour meeting with me. How many of you have done that? How many of you have done that? How many of you have scheduled a meeting with me? Right? Every time I send an email out from my commercial email, it says right in there, book an appointment. And you know what it does? It puts something right on my calendar. And it sends me an email. And then I can choose the platform that I want, not what they want. I can choose my platform and then invite them to that meeting. We're meeting tomorrow like that. And I believe deeply in systems and models, and develop your own systems. And the model I choose to use is Command. Command is fantastic. It's got everything in it to be successful as an agent. Everything. And you can get paid through it. You don't even have to talk to anybody. Just do it. And it's fantastic. And technology is your friend. It's not your foe. And there's fantastic technology within Command. Fantastic technology. And the truth is, it's really about who you know. And then to a lesser degree, what you know, like who you know. And who you know depends on reaching out to those people that you already know, that you're already part of your network, that you haven't taken advantage of, to have a forward discussion, to just be interested in them. How old are your kids? How long have they been playing soccer? How long have they been playing lacrosse? Like, who cares? Like, you just want to have a conversation, get other people talking. listen and take notes. But everybody knows 200 people. And the more people you know, the more business you do. As long as you are in your regular life, you're already talking to them, you're already doing that stuff. Get to know those people. Get to know those people at church. Like, get to know them. Don't just show up, be friendly, be kind, but just be interested. Tell me about your life. Tell me what's new. Tell me what's different. Tell me what's going on. What's your favorite kind of music? Like, all right, like hip hop. Who's your favorite hip hop singer? Like, who's your favorite? Like, who's your favorite? Like, I don't care. I want you to tell me who it is. I don't care. What I care about is what you care about, because that is the platinum role. It's what you want to know, what you're interested in. So you just have to be interested in everything and just keep asking questions. Keep asking questions of people. Keep learning. What's your family like? What's your work like? What do you do for fun? What are your dreams? Taking any vacations this year? You taking any vacation to go away for Christmas? You spend Christmas here. You do it with family? You have family down in Virginia and North Carolina. Like, where's your family? Like, who cares? What I want to know is, what's your family like? And then when you talk to them again and you're like, hey, I heard you were going down to North Carolina to spend Christmas. You have a good time down there? Do people your age, or like, how does it go? How many years have you been going down there? What, do you like going down there? Or you kind of like, yeah, I don't really want to go, but I kind of got to see my family. You know, but you want to get people talking about who they are and use technology as your friend. The KW mobile app is fantastic because you can take notes on the person right on your phone. You don't have to pop over your computer and log in and do all those things. You can do it right on your phone. And it all is shortcuts on my phone, all of it. I have a shortcut to command on my phone. It's not hard to do. And use technology as your friend, but most important, stick to what works for you and continue to learn. And that's sort of it. So if there's any questions, were there any questions from online?
I didn't see any online, so I think you're good to go.
Okay, so I want to thank you all for taking time, and hopefully you've taken some notes, and hopefully you have a few questions and can learn some things. And I'll just remind you, which is, if I send you an email, it's going to say right on the bottom, book an appointment with me. Book an appointment with me.